Hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this lovely gown top. These are the materials you'll be needing. For me, I'm using a shining bridal material, and then in my hand is cotton airstay, but I won't be using it though. I'm just showing you that if you are using a thick, in case you are going to use a soft material, you'll be needing a cotton airstay. But I went for shining bridal material because it's usually thicker than doll face. So I have gone ahead to fold my material into two. This is going to be the back piece. So I came in by 1.5 inch seam allowance. That is what I measured from the upper part all the way to the lower part of the fabric, and then I joined it together with my ruler. So I will be cutting the front and the back piece together. So you can see what I'm doing. This is this other material that I placed on it is the front piece. So worthy of note is the fact that the front piece is placed on where the 1.5 inch ends. You can see I place it on that line, not on the same edge with the fabric meant for the back piece. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch at the top part of my material, and I'm going to join it together. And then the next thing is I'm going to indicate the shoulder. Our shoulder is 15.5 divided by 2. That's what I just marked. I'm going to add half-inch seam allowance to it, and then I'm going to come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope, and then I will come down um to indicate the armhole line too. So to get it, you will divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5. That's how to get your armhole depth. I'm just trying to see if what I have at the upper part is what I also have here. So I'm going to join it together. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark our neckline. So I'm going to use 2.5 inches width, and for the the front piece I'm going to use 7 inches depth. The next thing I'm going to do is to connect it together with my ruler. I hope you can see the material is very colorful. I just thought it's white to show you the process of this dress. It's meant for a customer. So from the neckline, I joined it to the shoulder slope. From that neckline, I came up by half-inch, and from the shoulder slope, I came upward by half-inch as well, and I joined it together. The reason is because I'm going to join the front and the back piece at the shoulder, so that's the allowance meant for it. If I did not give it this allowance, I'm going to have to hold it from the neckline, which is going to make the depth of the neck shorter. So the next thing I want to know the midpoint of the armhole depth. That's the midpoint. I came in by half-inch. This half-inch is not for everyone, guys. It depends on the bust measurement of the person. This person is busted, so I'm just going to use half-inch for her. Our bust divided by 4 plus 1 give me 12. So divided by 4 is 11 plus 1 give me 12. So I indicated the bust divided by 4. I marked it, and then I indicated the 1 inch allowance too. So the first thing I'm going to do is to connect it from the shoulder slope to the midpoint, and then I'm going to now take it from that midpoint to the that point that I marked to the bust divided by 4, not to the allowance now. The bust divided by 4 is 11 plus 1 give me 12. So from that midpoint, I marked it to 11, not to 12, not to that allowance. That just gives some form of guide as to where the curve should stop. So I'm indicating the length. The next thing I'll do is I use 12 at the bust. I'm just going to add about 5 inches to it at the hem, and I'm going to place my ruler and slant it from 12 to that 17. I used 12. You know, when I divided the bust and added 1 inch seam allowance, it gave me 12 inches. So I just added 5 to that 12 inches. That gave me 17, and I marked that at the hem of the material. So from that bust line, I ruled all the way to the hem. Can you see? You remember I said I will be cutting the front and the back piece together, so I'm indicating the depth of the neckline of the back piece now. So I'm just going to use 1 inch for the back, and I'm going to make a curve right there. I'm not using V for the back neckline, and I'm not using the same depth as well. The next thing, I'll go over to the armhole, and from that midpoint, I'm going to curve it to that 11 inches, to that bust divided by 4. I'm going to curve it to that place. I'm not going to go out by ½ inch. So in all you're doing when you are making a dress, ensure that the front and the back armhole are not the same. Usually the front is deeper than the back. Can you see? So I'm just going to cut through. I decided to show the whole cutting process so you can trace my choking with your eye, since the material is very colorful. So I'm cutting the back armhole first. You know, it's not as deep as the front. I'm cutting it first before removing. Can you see? So I will carefully raise the front piece up and cut out the front neckline, and then I'm going to cut out the front armhole as well. The front armhole is quite deeper than the back armhole. Can you see? It's pretty easy. The next thing I'm going to do is to split open the zip allowance, and afterwards I'm going to secure it with pin. Trust me, pinning your fabric is very important. If you don't, the material is going to adjust, and then it's going to render your measurement inaccurate. It takes time, but it is worth it. So I've spread it on the table. I'm placing the front piece on it, wrong side facing the wrong side. Can you see? This is how it will be when you wear it. So one side of the dress is shorter than the other side, so I'm trying to indicate which part I want to be shorter. So I want it to be on my right hand side. So if I slant the tape, it won't be accurate. That's why from that shoulder, I gave it same allowance. So I came down from the ½ inch, and then I came downward to indicate how low I want it to be. So I've indicated it. From that marking, I'm going to slant it all the way to the end of the fabric. I'm going to place my ruler and slant it all the way. Can you see? So yeah, this is it. So I'm going to cut it out this way. Once again, I'm going to show you the cutting process so you can trace the choking with your eye and have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Can you see? You see what it looks like? You see? So I have one more slanting to do. Mind you, the one I just cut off is irrelevant. We won't be using it. So we are going to slant one more time. I'm going to mark 10 inches there. I was going to mark 9 inches, but then I changed my mind. I'm going to use 10 inches here. And on the other side, I'm going to mark 10 inches as well. And I will slant once again. I'm supposed to mark, by my calculation, I'm supposed to mark 10.5, but I'm going to mark 10 inches, leaving behind half inch for seam allowance. Can you see? I'm going to open up and check the zip allowance. Look at it, it's pointy. So I'm just going to straighten that part off. It's not a big deal really. I just like my work perfect. So I'm just going to straighten that part. By the time you cut yours, you are going to understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to cut that part off. That is the part we are going to replace with our plain material. For the sake of this, I'll be using a bridal material or shining face bridal material. If you choose to use doll face, please remember to use cotton airstay. So I can't fold the material since the two edges are not equal. So I'm just going to reposition my material so I can cut. Mind you, I will be cutting two pieces at a time. So the material is folded, the plain material I mean is folded into two. I will need two. So I'm coming down by half inch at the lower part and at the topper part and at the upper part, sorry. But I won't be adding half inch to the sides. I won't be adding half inches, just the upper part and the lower part. I'll join together with my ruler and then I'll cut it out. So I cut two pieces because it's this same material that I'll be using to turn it. I'm not using lining. I want it such that even if breeze blows, you are still going to see the material inside. So this is it. The pointy part of the material goes to the pointy part of the fabric, and the short side goes to the short side. How to know? Another way to know you're right is that it will fit. It will fit. But once you notice it doesn't fit, it means you've positioned the upper part you've at the lower part. So just flip it over. Don't panic it. Just flip it over. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut the neck facing. I'm just going to cut one piece for this. This is not folded into four. This is folded into two. Once again, I'm securing with my pin. I can never get tired of securing my fabric with pin. So I'm going to cut the slant. I'm going to make a curve. So I've decided to um make it 2 inches wide. So I'll be coming down by 2.5, sorry, 2.5 inches, 2.5, 2.5. Can you see? 2.5. So I'm just going to cut to join together using my ruler. I'm going to make a straight line where applicable. I'm just trying to be sure that my markings are straight and accurate. If you are using a soft material, remember to, after cutting this out, remember to place it on your cutting airstay as well, and cut um the airstay out. Using a steam iron, attach the airstay to your material. I like cotton airstay. I tried the other airstay just once and the result was not palatable at all. So cotton airstay, guys, is the best. It's more expensive, but it's worth it. So I'm just going to place it on it for you to see. Can you see? It fits. That's it, guys. Yeah. So I'm going to cut for the back as well. It's just the same process. The way I did the front is how I would do the back as well. Just that the back neckline is different. This one is round and the front piece is V. So I'm going to cut it out, go over to the slanted shoulder, cut it as well. And then since I use 2.5 for the front, I'm going to use 2.5 for the back as well. So I'm going to remove my pin and mark 2.5 downward. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So circle is more easier than a V. For that front piece, if you'll be using V like me, towards the end, I would advise that you just slow down and be careful. So I will be joining the dotted line with my chalk. It's not compulsory, it's just for the sake of the beginner that are watching. Don't forget, guys, if you are going to use a soft material for the back um facing, remember to use your stay as well. It just helps you secure the material. If you don't add stay to it, it's going to be ruffled a little. But if you add stay to it, it's going to stabilize it. Lovers of neat work and excellent work will go for cutting, will go for stay. But if you don't mind, you can sew it like that. But then there's going to be a huge difference. The next thing I want to show you is how to cut the sleeve. So the sleeve is a little exaggerated. It's not a smart sleeve. So what I'm doing, I'll come down by 4 inches That will be our cap height. The length of our sleeve is 13. I'm going to add 2 inches to it. That gives me 15. I'm going to add um half inch to it. That's what I will use to join the upper part of the sleeve and the shoulder together. And then I'm going to add 1 inch to it for casing. That makes it um 16.5. 13 plus 2, that's 15, plus half inch, that's 15 plus 5.5 plus 1, that's 16.5. I'm just going to wrap it up, round it up and make 17. So the next thing, I marked 11.5 there. Normally our round sleeve is 10.5, but I'm just going to make it 20 because I'm going to gather it with elastic. So I marked 10 inches there and I rolled it upward. So I'm going to slant it to that cap height. I'm going to mark the midpoint. Can you see the midpoint? I'm going to indicate the midpoint. Make a curve from the upper part downward. Make a point from the lower part all the way to the midpoint, and from the upper part all the way to the midpoint. And then I'm going to place the ruler again and slightly from the upper part to the end. So you will recall that when we were cutting the armhole of the of the main bodies, we the front was deeper than the back. That's what we are trying to achieve on the sleeve as well. Can you see this? Meanwhile, how to calculate your cap height? Just divide your bust by 12 and add 1 inch to it. 4 does not work for everybody, but for this person, I'm going to use 4 by my calculation. So the look at it, the material is right side fitting the right side, so I'm going to cut this part that is going to be attached to the front. Can you see? So the front is deeper than the back. This is what it looks like, guys. I will be showing you in my next video how to stitch it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.